Beautiful summer's weather, mid-July at Oulton Park in Cheshire, and everybody's in shirt-sleeve order. Surely this can't be Great Britain in the year 2000, but apparently it is. The first heat for round 8 of the TVR Tuscan Challenge. Michael Caine from pole position leading the field as he gets an early break. While all of the rest of them dicing for position, not just in this race with championship points, but also for their places on the grid in the main race. On board with the chairman of the company, this is Peter Wheeler. Wheeler in car number 8. And right ahead of him, we just saw the man who made the pass on him at the chicane, the number 19, Jonathan Rowland, who started from the back of the grid in qualifying. And he's absolutely flying. Greg Catton in second place as he chases the runaway leader, Michael Caine. Peter Wheeler in the dark green car there in the middle of this shot, and we ride again with him. Behind his PR man, Ben Samuelson, who does the PR for the racing and the factory cars. And Samuelson trying to take back a position now from Jonathan Rowland, locks up, goes into the back of him. Rowland holds the slide. Looks like Ben's bonnet is damaged in the number 12 car, another of the Works TVR cars, and there you can see that misarranged bonnet. Peter Wheeler keeping his nose clean. Nice chairmanly colour on his car, not your normal kind of racing car colours. Now Jonathan Rowland, with tyre smoke pouring off the back of his car, picks up another place as he comes towards us, the red windscreen strip on his car, and I saw an arm out of the cockpit further back up the road, and that I think was probably Ben Samuelson pulling over. Well, all that tyre smoke might mean the end of the road for Jonathan Rowland, riding with Peter Wheeler, and he's in that tyre smoke coming up towards Druids. Flat out little left-hand kink before Druids, and there is Ben Samuelson. He's pulled off on the side of the road, so he'll obviously go off and write his race report. And I can't see himself being blamed particularly for that one. Just missed his braking point a little bit down at the Shell Oils hairpin. Well, in the pits is the number 5 car of Andrew Delahunty, the teenager who is making his first appearance here. And a huge lock-up there for Phil James. Is he going to get out of trouble at Lodge? Yes, just about out of the gravel trap and heading off down Deer Leap, spreading gravel everywhere there on one of the trickiest corners of the circuit. Well, as he stays out of the way, the rest of them charging on towards the line, but it's victory in the first heat for Michael Caine. That means he'll be on the front row of the grid for the main event for the feature race. Now, whether he's on pole or not depends on whether the other heat is run quicker. Well, Mike Jordan on pole for the second heat, the onboard camera with Ashley Ward on row 4 of the grid. Right ahead of him is Andy Britnell, the number 23 machine, Matt Doman, the purple car just being obscured by the windscreen pillar. Looking down towards the first corner, and Jordan goes in ahead, and he's got Richard Stanton, the red, white and blue machine right behind him from the outside of the second row of the grid. Got around Troy Dunlop, who moves up into third place, or rather down into third place. Riding on board now with Troy Dunlop. Unusual view if you stuck your head through the windscreen on the passenger side. This is roughly where you would be. I have to say I'm not entirely recommending that, but it is a very good viewpoint. Looks inside Stanton. He's got the run up to the first chicane, but he'll be on the outside line. Can Stanton do anything about it? A little bit of damage there to Steve Sutcliffe's number 27 car. After practice, he qualified very well down the order after a practice shunt. Troy Dunlop does get ahead of Stanton, up into second place. And he and Mike Jordan were third and second quickest in qualifying respectively. Number 15 there, Giles Cooper, started in 6th spot. Now having a look at the back of Stanton until he spins out. Was that courtesy of a touch from Matt Doman or not? Well, you be the judge of that. I wouldn't like to pass comment. And Doman with somebody looking up right behind him, and it's Steve Sutcliffe, who has worked himself well up the order. Misses the chicane though at Knickerbrook, and that may cost him. Now Troy Dunlop right on the tail of the race leader, Mike Jordan, out of Deer Leap over the rise and towards the start-finish line, but no chance of catching him there, even on that last lap. Jordan allowed him to close, but not too much. So Mike Jordan, winner of the second heat, and that heat was not as quick. So that heat, all those drivers start on the outside of the front row. There is Jordan on the outside of the second row. Here we are with the man who was second in that one, and that's Troy Dunlop. So the faster heats start on the right-hand side of the road as they looked at it. The slower heat on the left-hand side. And contact, Matt Doman got across the nose there of the number 36 machine and got shoved all the way down into the first corner. So Matt Damon in trouble. Richard Finney was the 36 car. And listen to that name because you'll be hearing it later in our Pirelli Porsche Cup race because he is in both championships. So Richard Finney severely held up. Matt Damon with his hand out to the cockpit. Troy Dunlop here in 4th spot from the outside of the second row of the grid. Mike Jordan ahead of him. Then next up in front is Michael Caine, the race leader, and Greg Catton in 2nd place. Well, still plenty of shuffling of the order among the 32 starters here. 76 there, the white car, Anders Hildebrand, and he's holding off number 66, and that is Phil James. Well, the lead quartet being joined now by Steve Hyde in 5th place. That is just ahead of us as we ride with Ashley Ward in car number 20 in 6th position. Out of the Knickerbrook chicane, up the hill he comes. Under the Y in Yokohama. Ooh, big slide there as he went light over the crest. Down towards Druids, down a gear. Ooh, misses the apex. Much tighter on the second apex though. Under the Bailey Bridge they come now. And he's indicating he's got somebody quicker behind him. He wants them to go by. And that is the orange car of Ed Sharp. There he is, but he didn't get a chance there. This is Peter Wheeler, the chairman, also saying to somebody else, come by down the inside. And it's Steve Sutcliffe, one of the regular championship front runners. So Peter Wheeler, the boss of TVR, making sure that he doesn't get in the way of anybody's drive up through the field. Sutcliffe struggling after a big practice shunt. Well, Caine leading from Catton, Jordan, Hyde in 5th position chasing Troy Dunlop. And the field's starting to break up a little bit now. Battle further back. And there is 15 Giles Cooper, who we saw being spun out, or spinning out rather, of his earlier qualifying heat. Michael Caine with a handy gap out front. And there is the 5th place man, that is Steve Hyde. Caine on his own, then Catton and Jordan, then Dunlop in the wine-coloured car and Hyde in the other white machine there. Michael Caine easing away from the field. Fastest in qualifying, won his heat quite easily, and now it looks like driving away from the field in this main event. On board again with Peter Wheeler. Past him goes Matt Doman. He's also staging a bit of a flying recovery drive. Wheeler through this Fulston chicane, right and then left and then right, rumbling over those big rumble strips. And look at this now, Mike Jordan desperate to get past Greg Catton and get hot on the heels of Michael Caine. The race leader is really romping away, and Jordan, oh, so desperate to get by, looking down the inside there through Cascades, and that's a very unusual place to try a pass. Even more unusual to get away with it there. That's normally one reserved for the impetuous junior drivers. Catton and Jordan, 2nd and 3rd, through Island Bend, then down to the Shell Oils hairpin and off on the outside has gone, I'm not sure who, as Steve Cole spins the number 3 machine. He rejoins with no damage done, and so did our grass cutter on the outside. Here though comes Michael Caine. Greg Catton 2nd as he crests the rise ahead of Mike Jordan. Jordan not able to look down the inside there into the Knickerbrook chicane either, but he's all over the back of Catton. He's going to run into him in the chicane soon if he's not able to find a way past. Up to Druids, maybe he'll try it here. Michael Caine goes through on his own. And here comes Steve Sutcliffe with the Autocar windscreen stripper. 27 machine with that checkered flag on the noseband. Weaving his way through traffic, trying to fight his way up the order still. Picked up a place from 33 James Stevenson there as this battle for 2nd place continues. Troy Dunlop in 4th place, now on his own, seems to have shaken off Steve Hyde a little. Greg Catton still using all the road in his efforts to stay in 2nd place. Driving very well, very cleanly. He knows that Mike Jordan behind him has probably got a quicker car, but somehow Jordan just has to find a way through, and at the moment, Catton getting on the brakes a little earlier there, neater through the Knickerbrook chicane, just easing away again. Sutcliffe now past the 66 machine, and there is the number 5 car of Andrew Delahunty, teenager making his first appearance in the TVR Tuscan Challenge here at Oulton Park, and he's flying up the order. He is absolutely storming up the order. Well, that's a remarkable drive. It really is. And the door open on Steve Sutcliffe's car as if it wasn't damaged enough. It seems to have shut itself now over the bumps there. It's little fiberglass door shells, not actually used for climbing in and out of the car particularly, just part of the bodywork still. Out on his own Giles Cooper, and oh dear, who's that going off? That is the 66 machine that Andrew Delahunty had just got by. Can he recover it though, Phil James? Yes, he does. He managed to get it slowed down enough not to really thump the tyres. Jordan again looking down the inside of Cascades. Oh, so close to thumping Greg Catton in the door, but he just managed to get it slowed down. He is just all over the tail of the car in second place. And Catton defending for all he's worth. There has been contact as well. He has actually run into the back of Greg Catton at some stage because Catton's bodywork is loose. As you can see, Mike Jordan is absolutely desperate now. Look at it. You can just see it in his driving. He's finally got his nose inside, had his wheels right down on the inside of the Shell Oils hairpin. That helps the car hug the corner as it goes through. And finally, he's got by. But look at this. Michael Caine is already the full length of the run up over the hill and down into the Knickerbrook chicane ahead. And Jordan goes in too quickly, scrambles through just ahead of Greg Catton, just has a fraction to take his hand off the gear lever and say sorry about that. Catton pushing him along, he goes through so much quicker. Here is Caine, he's in between the back markers and someone's off, and it's Jordan. Jordan is off. He was being pushed up the hill by Greg Catton, and the checkered flag waves for Michael Caine. Jordan finishes his race in the barriers. The man who should get to the line in second will be Greg Catton. But I'd like to hear Mike Jordan and Greg Catton's respective verdicts on that one. Jordan off in the barriers, Catton taking the flag in second place. Troy Dunlop third from Steve Hyde in fourth place. And Ed Sharp and Ashley Ward in that group. Well, victory again for Michael Caine at Oulton Park, and a remarkable 9th place for Andrew Delahunty. A storming drive up the order from him. Caine still in charge of the championship by an increasing margin.